Hello everyone, I'm the chairman of the board. Long time no see. I welcome you all to another episode of random crap I bought on Steam. And the game we are going to play today is Gone Home. Now there is a special occasion for this. Thing is, this game was free this weekend. Because apparently something happened last week that made quite a few people rather upset. No idea what it could be. Anyway, it was free, but when I say free I mean technically free. By which I mean you could choose to pay some money for it that... well, basically any amount you want. And the money that is being raised by that is being donated to an organization called Lambda, which supports the rights of homosexuals and the transsexual in the United States, but also worldwide. And because there is not really anything else I do for the betterment of mankind, I donated €5. But that's just aside. It was really only this weekend, so raising awareness of this now is probably pretty pointless, but... I don't know. Just want to mention it. Anyway, this is Gone Home, a game that came out a few years ago. I remember it being a bit controversial, and that it's, in a sense, a fairly experimental game. It's what has come to be called a walking simulator, so a game that's all about environmental storytelling. And there is not necessarily any challenge to it or any core gameplay to it besides exploring and well, looking at the environment, looking at the objects you find there, and piecing together the story of the particular place you're exploring, as you are going to see very soon. So, as you can see, these are the controls, walking around and looking at things. There is not really much to it in terms of gameplay, which, of course, perfectly fine. But as I said, it caused some controversy, because it made many people question what makes a game
Hi,
a
Mom.
game. Sorry.
So I got my ticket home from Europe. I get back on June 6th, but it's a really late flight because that was the cheapest, so it gets in at midnight. But don't worry, I'll get a shuttle from the airport so you don't have to pick me up. Like, really seriously, you don't have to. Okay, so, love you. See you soon. Bye.
Now, as you possibly heard, that voice actress is Ashley Birch, and you might recognize her. She's Chloe in Life is Strange. Heard her voice in a few things lately, this being one of them. Excuse me for a moment, I think this game could stand to be a bit more quiet. Yeah, that's fine. So as I said, this game was a bit controversial back when it came out, because it made many people question what is a game in its essence. Does a game need to have challenge? Do you have to be able to fail in a game? Does a game need to have gameplay beyond just the act of exploring an environment? Which was kinda, I guess, amplified by the fact that it got very, very good reviews. Like, many critics really dug this game. Personally, I'm playing it for the first time today, so I'm gonna make my judgment later on. But as I said, it was a controversial game. And, well, as I said, we can look at things and turn lamps on. Ain't that something? Now, what do we have here? Christmas decoration. And a Christmas duck with a key below it. Yup, it sure is a duck. It cost about $6. Ain't that a thing? But I think what we actually want is the key. Wait. I want to place it a bit more carefully. And that'll do. So about that. I mean, there is core gameplay to it. There is some basic puzzle solving. But there is like no combat or anything, it's just, you know, that little story that is. What do we have here? Caitlin Greenbrier. Destination Portland, Oregon. Though I suppose it could also be Portland, Maine. But I kinda doubt it. And it would look like she came from Belgium. That's... Well, as a wise man once said, Belgium is a non-country. Katie, I'm sorry, I can't be there to see you, but it is impossible. Please, please don't go digging around trying to find out where I am. I don't want anyone, mom or dad, to know. We'll see each other again someday. Don't be worried, I love you. Sam. Which I think is the protagonist's sister. To be perfectly honest, I know the plot twist of this game. I know well, one of them. I know one of the plot twists of this game. The one that everyone knows has become a bit famous, infamous, and that is kind of the reason why thematically it's appropriate that the funds raised by this game go to a association that supports the rights of homosexuals. But that aside, there is a bathroom. We can turn on the lights. There are the things you'd expect in a bathroom. Towels. A magazine. Author magazine. Stephen King. He sure wrote quite a few good books. And even more kind of shitty ones. 50 contests with up to, wow, 21,000 in prizes. Critiques the art of feedback get published. The secret, the blank page. How 20 top authors conquer it. I really wonder if there is such a magazine. I mean, authors, they don't particularly strike me as a social group that would be big enough to have their own magazine, is what I'm saying. What's that? Oh, tampons. Well, I suppose I don't need any. I never was in a situation where I particularly needed tampons. Quick fix, fabric and bandages. Sterile... well, not really tampons, but pads, whatever. Soap. Sparkle hand soap, green apple. You know, unlike some people, I actually think that there is some merit to, you know, a game that consists entirely of environmental storytelling. As a matter of fact, I find environmental storytelling to be one of the defining features, or one of the defining things you can do with video games that you can't do with any other game, or with any other medium. I mean, you know, I suppose you can do it with, like, movies in terms of set design and whatnot, but, you know, the act of actually exploring an environment and learning about the people who inhabit it, that's really interesting. I'm just inclined to agree with the people who say that to have really long-lasting appeal, a game needs a little bit more. Like, take Dark Souls. Dark Souls is big about environmental storytelling, but there is still a very, very strong action game that is in the actual center of the gameplay. My favorite game of all time, Silent Hill 2, is all very big on environmental storytelling, but it's also a survival horror game. If you take anything else out, it's very easy to here we go. It's very easy to get the feeling that there is not really anything else to a game. And once again, this is enough for me personally. But then I got this game for €5. Originally this game is, I think, €20, and that is $20. And I wouldn't be ready to spend that much money on it. What does it say here? Front hall. Well, got some clothes here. Goodfellow High School. Forestry Service, Janice Greenbrier. Senior Conservationist. So I guess the mom is a park ranger. Or something like that. Well, yeah, something like that. I think that's puts it quite well. Over the Alps, a novel traveling game. That sounds fun. I didn't mean to throw it like that. I wanted to put it back. God knows I'm just going to miss most things. But anyway, there is a Mexican skull thing. Hey, we Mexico. I'm not even trying to pronounce it correctly, so I'm just going to pronounce it wrongly and play it off as a joke. It's not funny, not by any means, but... Regional Track and Field Finals, April the 21st, 1990. Girls 100 meter relay, first place, Jamie Blum, Carla Jones, Shauna Rossi and Caitlin Greenbrier. I think we are Caitlin. Regional Track and Field Finals, April 22nd, 1991. Girls long jump event, Caitlin Greenbrier. Yeah, I suppose it's us. A book, the Holy Bible. Oh well. I have opinions about religious people. I'm not going to share them with you because that would be an impolite thing to do, but I have opinions about them. Turn off the lights again. Hey, what do we have here? A note. Oh god, I can't read that. But it's a description of some sort of direction to something to work from new house. Oh god, yeah. Left on Crabtree, right on Bullhorn, I think. Exit onto 47N, right onto 202E, entrance. Fairly self-explanatory. You know, if you look at this game and the sounds and, you know, like the storm outside, you'd probably be thinking, hey, this is a horror game. Because it kind of plays with the cliches of a horror game, it plays with some of the conventions. But I guess you could say it subverts them, but rather than subverting them, it just kind of, you know, ignores them. So there's that. Pencils, markers, it's all very fascinating. Galaxy, permanent marker. Yeah, great. Worldwide timetable. Okay. Okay. Amsterdam. That's in the Netherlands. Apparently our protagonist lived in Europe for a while. And I mean, why not? Europe is a perfectly good place to live. Parts of it. I mean, parts of it are shit, but parts of everywhere are shit.
Sam. Sam. Hello. Sam. Sam, where are you? Really? I need to talk to you. Please be there.
Hi, Mom. So I got my ticket home from Europe. I get back on June 6th, but it's a really late flight because that was the cheapest, so it gets in at midnight. But don't worry, I'll get a shuttle from the airport so you don't have to pick me up. Like, really seriously, you don't have to. Okay, so, love you. See you soon. Bye.
Once... Right. One can't help but notice that the voice actress, I think her name is Ashley Birch, doesn't really have that much in the way of range. Like, I mean, she still sounds like Chloe in this game. Also, I kinda want to know, is there an option for subtitles? No. No. And wouldn't you know it, when I looked into graphics settings, my game crashed. So that's just fantastic. On a more positive note though, I did find subtitles. So not all is lost. Anyway, let's continue where we left off. What does that say? Boone County. Oh, it's the phone book. Well done. In case you couldn't tell, this game is set in the 90s, I think. You know, a time when things still looked like they were turning out decent. Or maybe I was just too young to see how shit everything was. I probably was, yeah. What does it say here? Sam, Daniel from the old neighborhood called. He wants to come see the new house, call him back. Mom, Daniel is a total weirdo. The only reason I ever hung out with him in the first place is he had a Nintendo when we were little. I think we all knew that guy. That guy, we all knew him. You know what? These are empty. I'm so happy that I pointed that out. See, that's what I mean, like, this could very well be a horror game just in terms of the visuals. Because you got the flickering lights and the corridors and... We have a map, that's great. Yeah, so what I was saying was the flickering lights and the corridors and the thunderstorm outside and stuff. But it isn't. It's an explory walkie simulator game. Hi Mom, Dad, Sam. I'm in Paris. I have done many Parisian things, including eating le petit déjeuner and wearing a beret. You know, I always wanted to have a beret. I couldn't think of any good opportunities to wear it, but I want to have one. I'm going to have lots of film to develop when I get back. Sam, I'm bringing you back something from the Shakespeare Book Company since you are my favorite sister. Love you all, Katie. You know, from what I've heard, Paris is kind of a shit city. And I mean, you know, every large city is... I'm saying this as a guy who lives on the country and grew up on the country. But every large city is kinda... But... You know what I mean. What I'm saying is, I'm not much of a city person. That's what I'm saying. Move the mouse to rotate when you're examining. Oh, okay. So apparently she was in the military. That's admirable. Obituary. Oscar Mason, 60 of Boone County, died peacefully last month at his home. Mr. Mason was born on September 8, 33, in the house that would be his home for the rest of his life. He attained his degree in pharmacy at a young age and returned to Boone County. Quickly became a well-loved figure at the center of the community. In the decades preceding his passing, he was seldom seen outside his home. A service will be held this Sunday at First Methodist Church at 1 p.m. All are welcome. His survivors include his nephew, Terence Greenbrier, as well as in spirit the people of Boone County to whom he provided wellness and comfort. Okay, and I guess Terence Greenbrier was the dad, so Oscar Mason was our protagonist's great uncle? Something like that makes sense. Pack of cards. Akechi playing cards. Well, that's just wonderful. Wonderful, it is. This house has a lot of broom closets. Is that normal? I don't know, but then I've never lived in a house as big as this one. Welcome, new student. We hope that you're as excited about... Okay, no, we don't need subtitles.
Oh my god. You are so lucky you finished high school before we moved into this house. So, it's the first day of school. And there I am, introducing myself to the class. And I say that I just moved into the house on Arbor Hill. All of a sudden, every kid in the room turns and just stares like I suddenly transformed into a mutant. I just stood there, wishing pretty hard for a rewind button. Because now maybe nobody knows my name, but they all know who I am. The Psycho House Girl. Great.
Okay. What a story. Added to backpack? How do you... Okay. Again, this would kind of imply that there is something wrong about this house, that it's haunted or something like that. But, again, it isn't. Heavens to Betsy. Okay. If that's a reference to something, that I don't get it. as I usually don't. But you know, this game is all about, you know, just exploring an empty house. And as I said, I'm not the kind of person who's bored by that. I'm too... I get... Okay. I'm not the kind of person who's bored by that. But then I don't blame people for being bored by the kind of gameplay. Or lack thereof. Crestville Insurance Agency, Inc. Electrical inspection form. The wiring in the house is technically up to all safety and amperage requirements. However, multiple layers of wiring have been added into structure over the last 100 years. Frequently unpredictable, lights blink out for no clear reason. Pressure on floorboards and door frames disrupt circuits wired directly behind the surface. Probably reworking the electrical system would be highly destructive to walls, floor, and fixture of the structure. After discussion with Mr. Greenbrier, since there are no current safety concerns, the issues will not be addressed. Okay. See, that's the kind of thing. A lot about this game seems kind of mundane. And I mean, a game that I really like is the Stanley Parable. Because that has a lot of... That one does a lot of really clever and unpredictable things. I enjoy that. There is another game that I like and that I kind of want to do a video on at some point called Layers of Fear, which is a horror game. Also, just about exploring a place, but the place is much more... well, it's less mundane. This is just... You know, a house that normal people live in who have a lot of, you know, who did a lot of normal people things. And that's perfectly fine if you're invested in the lives of these characters that you never actually get to meet. But, you know, I don't blame people for being not invested in them. I don't. What is that? From pen of Terence L. Greenbrier. Okay, so it would seem like the dad's an author. That's reasonably interesting. Free ring binder. Well, can we open it? No. Well, okay. Empty. Empty. No, that's just lazy. Compact display, remote backlight double-sided. They say that a jack of all trades is a master of none. I have to disagree. Mastery is not a question of specialization, but sureness of purpose and dedication to craft. If you happen to be in the market for a combination LD-CD player, you'll be glad to know a pioneer seems to share this particular... Oh. Is that his job? Because that's depressing. Like, does he work in advertising? Because if you fancy yourself an author, that's not what you wanna do. John Russell opened his eyes and saw them, the stars, twinkling as if he were laying on the grass in his family's yard in Massachusetts, even though that place was 1,000,000 miles away. No, he blinked the sleep from his eyes, looking through the carbon-reinforced safety glass of the space station Archimedes. Yes, he was a long way from home, but the future needed him. John Russell's head swam. He felt incredibly drunk, despite not having touched a drop in hours. He vomited onto his feet, his bare feet. He stared for a moment, processing his sick flecked toenails. Scanning up his bare shins, bare knees, he was completely naked. He looked up and met the eyes of a gorgeous blonde woman wearing a tight polymer fiber tunic. The fabric that strained at the seams to contain her generous bosom was emblazoned with the phrase, Meta Transference Operator. Then he passed out. John Russell had crossed the gap in time. Only messages has passed before. No, beyond. But now, a man? Okay. They needed him no more than ever. Now more than ever. Changing the past was no longer The instructions from the council have been clear. What to procure, what to construct. What's wrong with your spelling, man? How to assimilate, so he made the machine. How to transport him bodily across time, and now he stood there on the bridge of the star ship Archimedes, commandant of the vessel, Because only he who had saved the Bradisnet's life twice before, he could helm the Neve crew to their destiny, the fate of the galaxy. Okay. I don't think that John Russell was the only one who felt drunk. That one's locked and I don't know the combination. Maybe it's somewhere around. Maybe it's not. But I surely won't give up hope. We've already seen that. What could the combination be? I'm genuinely wondering. What do we have here? Back to basics. Sent back in time to Dallas, 1963. Now that's one we can try. What if JFK wasn't JFK? Early spaceflight utopia, advanced technology, and World War II early time stream to different. JFK president, US plus USSR coalition, I doubt it. Chinese, Japanese, Lebanese. Paradox results in JFK death being desired outcome. Record JFK off HBO. Magic bullet theory. Lone gunman, X-Files, check with Sam. You can do better, or so they keep telling me. So he tried to write a time travel story about the JFK assassination. And that's what I'm getting. Why not disrupt motorcade minutes before Lee Harvey Oswald can fire? Grassy knoll steamrolled. Anyway, let's try 1963. 1963. Nope. Well, I would have been surprised. But you know, maybe it would have worked. You never know. Let's see what we find in that room right here. Man, that's a nice room. He has his own library. I wish I had my own library. I mean, look at that. Look at how cozy that little niche there is. Fresh, true stories. I was a teenage drag queen. Readers tell us about their worst moments. Does anybody still care? What does that even mean? The male gaze, how to subvert it. Sarah Holtz, now gathering moss. Fascinating. What's that? Oh. Okay. Whatever. Anything else in that library? Because it doesn't look too exciting. A Stranger Under My Roof, Understanding Teens. The first best-selling advice book for parents and teens. Dr. Eliza Medina. Don't we get subtitles for that? Standing teens, virgin types, physical, mental, spiritual, How bad can you be at raising your child that you need a book to do so? Oh, yatta! 0451. Dear Terrence, David asked me to write you regarding the reviews. You've been submitting the last few months. Frankly, they're becoming more trouble than ever. From a dietetic standpoint, there's a word limit, it's your job to stay under it, not mine to cut back to it. Even then, it's becoming harder and harder to weed out the tangents and non sequiturs from the usual copy without heavy rewrites. The readers of home theater aficionado want to hear about the quality and value of the hardware, not ruminations on your childhood. Sorry, I'm just imagining what he might have written. David's known for you for a long time and he's the boss, so I'm giving you one more shot on his say-so. You should write him a nice note, thanking him for his patience and generosity. Look through your old stuff and start submitting reviews like that again. Then everyone will be happy. So he writes reviews for household objects. That's even more depressing than writing advertisements. But okay, 0451. 0451. Let's go. 0 4 5 1. Here we go. Kubelik and Vice Attorneys at Law, 21 Front Street, Boone County, or no, Oregon. So it is Portland, Oregon. Right. Dear Mr. Massan, please find enclosed your original document and your typed copy for your records. The notarized copy has been filed in our offices. Thank you for entrusting our firm with this important matter. Sincerely, Jeffrey Weiss, Kubelik and Weiss Attorneys at Law. Will and testament of Oscar Massan. I, Oscar Mason, possessing full competence of mind and memory, yada yada yada, declared that I'm a lifelong resident of Boone County. No outstanding debts to my name. Bequeath. That's a weird word. Bequeath. Every item of value of which I may die possessed, including the dwelling in surrounding areas, upper hills. I don't care. At the end that I said Junior should predecease me, then in such event bequest to him shall fall, and the same is bequeathed to his children as old age and competent stewards of the estate. Nice. So, yeah, that's that again. There is no way I could read this if I didn't have the subtitles on. So that's really it. That's just a testament. That's really it. Well, better than nothing, I suppose. But yeah, again, there is a lot in here that I find, I'm not gonna say hard to care about, because I do care about it. Like, I do find this interesting. I'm on board with it. It's just not the kind of thing you'd expect to go over well with general audiences. Like, I don't blame anyone for saying that this is essentially a pretty dull affair. I think you need to be a very specific type of person to enjoy I'm sorry, to enjoy that sort of game.
Residents are strongly urged to stay indoors.
Let's turn on the
Secure
ceiling
all
fan.
windows and doors. Flood conditions are expected at lower elevations.
It's just going through a house, and I'm not saying that you can't find the like everyday struggles of, you know, normal people interesting. But you know, you gotta admit this game doesn't have much of a hook,
This
if
is a
I may
severe
put it
weather
like that.
event. The Northwest Weather Service reports high winds and torrential rain conditions affecting the following counties: Austin County, Boone County, Dawn County.
It doesn't have really anything to pull you in.
And Wistaria County. Residents are strongly urged.
And I mean, you
to
might
stay
say it doesn't need to.
secure
Video
all
games
windows
are
and
an art
doors.
form. Art
Flood
doesn't need to be
conditions are
entertaining.
expected at lower
Actually,
elevations.
let's turn off the TV. I don't care about the weather report. Actually, that's something that I've been saying for a very long time. Art doesn't need to be entertaining. Not by any means. What art needs to be is engaging. And something can be engaging without being entertaining. You know, my all-time favorite movie is Inland Empire. And I wouldn't exactly say it's a movie that you should watch with a bucket of popcorn on, you know, when you're trying to have a, what do I know, a romantic evening or anything. again, art doesn't need to be entertaining, but art needs to be engaging. Now, that engagement can come from a lot of things. It can come from, excitement. It can come from, having a character-driven narrative. That too. It can come from a lot of things, but it needs to be there. Is it there with this game? Yes, but I'm saying that as someone who, again, is kind of interested in these sorts of things, who finds just, the normal life of people interesting, who can get into this. Many people can't. Making friends when you're shy. Sam thought this might help that. It ain't easy, I can tell you that much. It's a piece of cake to make friends. Never worry again about having friends spend time with. This book will teach you to make friends even when you're shy.
You know that feeling where the first moment you see someone, it's like they have a big gold star around them, and you have to get to know them? Well,
Yes.
There's this girl. I think she's a senior. She's usually dressed kind of punk, but sometimes I see her in this, army uniform. And she's always drawing in this notebook, looking so intense. I had no idea how I would ever, have an excuse to talk to her. Till I noticed she and her friends hang out and play Street Fighter at the 7-Eleven every day after school.
I played Street Fighter when I was a kid. I want to say on my old Game Boy. Was there a Street Fighter port on the old black and white Game Boy? I think there was. Hey, cassette tape. Girl Scout, role model. Hey, can we put it in? Yes, I think we can. I'm not feeling it. I want to hear the other song. No? Needless to say, that's not necessarily the type of music I listen to a lot. Just saying. There's a letter there. February 3, 1978. My god, that's old. Terry, hey man, how have you been? Know you're a published author and everything now, but my editor at Hi-Fi Aficionado. There's too much review work to go around, and he's looking for another freelance and literally for the viewers, and lost that how much pain's been trying to find a published for this literature, whatever. So, yeah, the dad's an author. Lucky bastard. Not that, if he ended up like that, meh. Terence L. Greenbrier, The Accidental Savior. November 21st, 1963. John Russell knows that the president's life hangs in the balance. But who would believe him? Not just another James Bond, a high-class political thriller. Didn't Stephen King at some point write a book about the Kennedy assassination? I mean, looking at his output, just technically speaking, Stephen King must have written a book about everything by now. But, what does he have? The Time Machine and Clue. Fantastic Voyage and Top Gun. Ghostbusters. Hey, I've actually seen that one. Labyrinth. No, I think I might have seen Top Gun 2 at some point. Never mind. The Andromeda Stain. Strain, never heard of it. Airplane. I've seen that one too. That was a good movie. Moonraker. I think that's a James Bond movie, isn't it? Beetlejuice. That was one of Tim Burton's early movies. RoboCop. That's a good one. Blade Runner. That's one of my favorite science fiction movies. JFK, X-Files, X-Files, X-Files. Never watched that actually. Clash of the Titans. Classic Ray Harryhausen. So you know, there is that. 2001, that's a great one too. The Dark Crystal. I think that was made by the same people as Labyrinth. I think Jim Henson did the creature effects. But who cares, literally. And because I feel like everyone stopped caring now, I think I'm going to stop this video now. I might actually do more on this game, or I might not. Kinda depends on how I feel. Anyway, I'm your chairman of the board, and this was some thunder. But also, this is Gone Home. It was free, and therefore I don't regret downloading it. Not sure if I recommend it, but you know, if you're into this kind of thing, you will know that you're into this kind of thing. If you're not, you will know that you're not. Just, I don't know, some people really threw a fit over this game. I kinda don't get it. I kinda don't get it. But that's a different point entirely. I'm your chairman of the board, and I'll be seeing you next time. Till then, see ya, ciao!